Hello everyone, it's Annette Green here. Excuse my voice. I'm not sick, I'm not hoarse. My throat is just dry today. I've been creating all day long and totally focused and not spoken to anyone for hours, and my throat is just dry. So I appreciate your patience there. Today is sort of the end of week 40 of 2024, and every week I do a crafty or craft related video. And as you can see, I wanted to make some little treat bags here, some little maybe hostess gifts for Thanksgiving time or just for a friend during the season, the autumn season. And I got to looking for ideas on how to make your own bag. And I found some. So I wanted to make a little treat bag, and I went on YouTube like we do, right? And I looked up like how to make your own gift bag or treat bag. And I used to have one of those punch boards that made the gift bag, but I guess I gave it away when I moved from Florida. So I did find a fella that did like origami kind of style, but I tell you, this, my paper, the paper from Elizabeth Craft Designs, any paper line, mine included, which is Beautiful Bounty, my newest paper collection, it's just too thick for this. It's not a origami kind of paper. So I did try, and it didn't go well. So just so you know, that's not the way to go. And I found, actually, I remembered a long time ago, like, gosh, 2018 maybe, or maybe even before that, I did a tutorial for Graphic 45 on making a little gift bag, like a treat bag. And it was a little different than this. I went back and I looked at my directions, and it was a little more square when it stood up, and seemed a little bulky. It didn't have certain things going on. So I'm going to call this sort of a refined and upgraded version of that particular tutorial. So some of you that have been with me for a long time in Graphic 45, you know what I'm talking about. But that's what we're going to do today. I made two already, and we're going to make one together. And in case you don't know anything about Beautiful Bounty, my latest paper collection that I designed, here it is. I will link it below. It is still available. The Card Maker Special die, however, and stamp set that coordinates is sold out officially. So that was quick. But here's the paper. This gives you a great idea on the packaging of all the different papers in here. Lots of teals, golds, buttery yellows, oranges. It's nice for the fall season, but really good for all year long, and especially for us nature lovers. Okay, so here we go. I will tell you that the size is 6 inches tall, 4 inches across, and about an inch and 3/4, sorry, deep this way. Very cute with my papers. And I'm going to do a third one here with some even more different papers from the collection. I have everything ready to go. And I think I want to incorporate the new, like brand new, Florals 32. This is number 2182, Florals 32 with Elizabeth Craft Designs by Angelica Turner, you know, for Elizabeth Craft Designs. So this one looks a lot like, I could maybe make some mum looking flowers like in this paper. So I'm going to play with that to decorate the front of that one. But in case you haven't been around for a while with me, and you wonder like, what is all this stuff going on here? The mushrooms and that particular fern are from last fall's release, 2083 Mushrooms and Ferns die set. It's one of my favorites. And the owl over here, and the word thankful. The owl is Fall Wreath and Owl from last year, 2079. There it is. It has a beautiful big wreath and all these leaves, and the owl, of course. And then the thankful is from Everyday Words number 2, 2078, also from last year. And what else? You know, everything else you see is from the Beautiful Bounty paper. So even these little mushroom things, and these border strips, all that is from the Beautiful Bounty paper. One more thing that I forgot, and that's this right here, the double border. That is from the Card Maker Special that's sold out. So it's a nice little border. If you happen to get that one, great. And then of course, I can't find it over here, but I'm looking for my postage stamp die. It has 4 different sizes. That's what that's made from, around the outside edge there on those. Okay, let's get started on making one more. So of course you're going to need some papers that coordinate, and you might want to have some ink for inking edges. You're going to want to have a scoreboard for sure. So let me grab mine. So the first thing you want to do is decide on your bag paper, like your main paper for the whole bag. And I'm going to use this one, like I mentioned. And you want to cut this to 6 by 12 and then put it into your scoreboard the direction that you want it to be on the bag when it's assembled. So we're going to score at 4 inches, 5 3/4 inches, 9 3/4 inches, and 11 1/2. Okay, we'll just go ahead and fold on those now. We're going to kind of burnish those in a minute with my other bone folder. But just so you don't lose sight of where those score lines are, I just kind of do this real quickly. And you can see that this is the basic construction of the base of our, not the base, but the main bag, treat bag. Okay, and then you need a piece for your bottom. So if you look at these, this is your decorative piece on the bottom. Okay, this also needs to be 12 inches, but it only needs to be 3 1/4 inch tall. So what you'll do is you'll score it in the very same way at 4, 5 3/4, 9 3/4, and 11 1/2. Same exact thing. Now you want to take it and turn it and score all the way down at 1 inch. Okay. Once again, I want to fold on those while I can see them right after I've done them. And like I said, I'll take more time to really burnish these in just a second. See, I can't hardly find that one. Okay, that's it for that one. The only other thing that you're going to score while you have your scoreboard out is you want to get a compatible piece of paper that measures 4 by 3 1/2, and then you want to score that 3 1/2 in half at 1 3/4, which I've already done, and I inked it and I rounded the 2 front corners. You'll see that in a little bit. Now is when I would take the time to do a little bit of burnishing with my other bone folder on all those score lines. And while I'm doing this, I will check in with you. I know a lot of you went through Hurricane Helene. We talked about that in my last video when I put together my planner page from our experience with Helene here in South Carolina. But now I have to worry about all my friends and family down in Florida. My family, most of my family is on the East Coast, and a lot of my friends are as well. But I have lots of friends that are in like Sarasota and Tampa, Fort Myers, Naples, all those West Coast people. So I'm hoping everybody has found a different place to be for a little while during this Hurricane Milton, because it sounds bad. Okay, so I did all that, and I've already kind of burnished this one. We'll do it again real quick. Oh, one more thing we got to score is this little strip. This is optional. I like to do a little accent border around the top of that pattern paper. I did it on this one too. So you can see it doesn't matter how skinny it is. It just needs to be 12 inches. So this one in particular will be the one I'm going to use today. And this is just about, I mean, it's under half of an inch, so it's like 7/16. No big deal. But you do want to score that. You don't really need to burnish this one, and you'll see why later. But you do want to score it with the same measures as before, 4, 5 3/4. So I almost forgot about this guy. 9 3/4 and the 11 1/2. Okay, and like I said, just fold on it. Maybe don't burnish this one, because this one goes on the top of our paper and sometimes needs a little extra beyond those folds. So let's grab this guy and a cutting mat and a knife and a ruler. let's see. I think I'll use my quilting ruler because it does have, it's like 6 inches deep, which is helpful. Okay, so what you want to do on this one is you want to cut just a slit to that one score line that went all the way across the strip. So you're cutting a slit on all these score lines up to that 1 inch that we did along the long edge. So I'm just tilting it in the light so I can see it really good, and I'm stopping at the 1 inch. Sometimes with pattern paper it's really hard to see, but it's not super critical because this is the bottom of the gift bag. Not a lot of people are going to be focusing on that too hard if they pick it up and look at it. Okay, so this last one, this is just that little 1/2 inch tab. This one I want to just cut away. Okay, so this is what we have, and not absolutely necessary, but I am going to cut a little bit, just a slight little angle, just to kind of reduce the bulk a little bit when we put this together. You can do this with your knife on the mat if it's easier for you. I'm just going to eyeball it with my scissors. Just a really slight little angle from the bottom to that top of that slice. Oop. Make sure those things are out of your way. I almost snipped that. Okay. And then this one. Again, not critical. This is perfect, no big deal. Okay, that's done. Get rid of all those little slivers. Now, one more thing that we need to do. See these two big ones here, this one and this one? I want to trim those so that the total distance from this left edge to the end is only 2.5 inches. So I'm laying my ruler at 2.5 inches over here, so I can just cut these, just these long ones, these big wide tabs, and I'll show you. So we don't need those at all. Okay, so this is what you'll have left. 2 long ones that are short, you know, like narrow, and then 2 wider ones that are shorter. Okay, and this is going to make that little base around the bottom of your gift bag. So I do like to ink some of the edges. Some of them you can wait for sure, but this top one, this is that 1 inch score side. This is one that we're going to see. We can do the folded part later once we get the whole bag assembled. I learned that that's better to do later. I also would ink this strip all the way around. I'm not going to ink on those folds yet until I get it on the bag, and you will see why. Okay, then finally our main bag. I have to say, this is it's such an easy project. It's fairly addictive too. Once you make one, you're like, ooh, I could use this paper and that paper. And like I said, with Angelica's new flowers and her new release, she's got a new paper pack as well. And it's behind me. I can't reach it, but it's beautiful. It's very fall-like. Would be perfect for making a whole bunch of these. Okay, I think we're ready. We got everything inked. We got all our pieces prepped and cut. I do have like a little decorative border strip I might add on here later. Not 100% sure yet, but it measures 4 inches across and it looks like about an inch. Yeah, just about an inch. That's an option for later. Okay, so what we want to do first is grab some score tape, and this is 3/8. It's not quite 1/2 inch, which is perfect for what we need here. And you want to put a strip of this on your main bag piece on the top of that 1/2 inch little tab on the end there. And that's why 3/8 is good, because if you had 1/2 inch tape, it's exactly the same as the the scored edge, and sometimes that doesn't work out too well for you. So just burnish this down really well, and we're going to peel this up and bring this one around and stick it right down. It should be able to go down just laying everything flat like this, which is great because you can really burnish it. Okay, so there's our base of our pretty gift bag. We'll put that aside and we'll work on this one next. So I don't have like 1-inch score tape, so I'm just going to use a couple of strips of this. Same one since I have it out. And I'll just put it, you see I'm working on the underside, of course. I'm going to put it all the way across. I like to have like a separate piece going vertically on this little tab over here. It's not 100% normal, necessary. You don't have to do that, but knowing how this comes together, I find that to be a little easier to deal with if it's its own tab, its own peel up, so to speak. So I'll just put 2. I think that's going to be plenty. I don't have to put any in the middle there. And just make sure this one clears that little fold. And then I'll cut one little piece for the tab. And it looks like I didn't really trim that tab very well, so I'm going to fix that real quick. Okay, cool. Burnish, burnish. Okay, and while we have the tape out, now this is going to be close because this is almost the same width. So let's see if I can do it. I think I can. Yeah, it's perfect actually. There's just a tiny little bit of space of paper sticking out from the tape, top and bottom, and that's what you want. You don't want the other way around. You don't want tape hanging off the edge. Okay. Now where's my little tab? I'm going to stop there too, and give that little tab its own piece of tape. I don't know if that one's as necessary to do that, but I'm going to do it. Okay, burnish it really well. Okay, now for this next step, you have to make sure you know this is the front of my bag, this is the back of my bag, and because we're about to apply this. And I like to make sure that this little tab gets around the back side. So this is where I want to start. Well, I don't want to start there, but I just want to make sure that my front cover of the front part of my bag sits on that panel. So if I remember that as I go, I will start, just peel this whole thing up. Okay, so knowing that, right, is there, I'm going to turn this way, turn it so I can see it, and I'm just going to line up carefully, because if this part's off, the whole thing will become off. So I'm going to press that. Can you see that? And then now I can just like start bringing it around. And the reason why I'm turning it is so I can see that scored fold mark on the paper that I'm adding to the base. This one here, so I don't go past it. This one's a little trickier because you can't see. So maybe we can just flip it around. But you just want to make sure it's on there nice and straight. And I think I went a little crooked, but I think it's going to be okay. Now, I didn't want to push down too much right there, and this is why. On that very last bit, you can stop a little short, peel this little tab up and get it underneath so it looks really neat, see? Because it comes up a little bit short because it has to wrap around the bag. So it's not like 12 inches really got you there. You needed that little bit of extra, but it worked out great. So now I'm going to take a little time to get in there and really burnish that really well. Okay, and then next I want to put these two together and actually just put a little glue so they grab just a little bit where they overlap. And the beauty of the size of this particular bag is it's big enough that you can get your hand down in there and press. The other size, it was like 3 by 3, and I couldn't get my hand in there. I was like, how do I press this down? But give it some good pressure. Everything looks good. You can do the same thing all the way around. Okay, and then let's see, this is my front. So I want this tab to be last. So I'm going to bring this one up. And this is not squared up over here. I don't think it matters. I'm not sure what happened, but got a little bit askew. I'm not going to worry about it. I think one of my other two did that too. It's probably just from me kind of rushing through for the video. So take your time. Okay, again, you can pick this up, push that down, and then we can get this last flap down. Okay, beautiful. Looks good. Okay, and like I said, you know, anybody that's turning this thing upside down and inspecting it and saying, oh, there's a little problem here, they don't deserve this. Looking good. I don't think people do that. Do you guys think people really do that? Do you think they scrutinize your stuff? I doubt it. Okay, so now I want to take my little border strip with my little one tabby tab here, and I want to get it started on the back. This is the back of my bag. And then I can peel up the rest of this. And this is why I didn't fold really hard on those score lines, because I just really want this to adapt to the bag as I'm going around. And it's better because if you score it and you're not quite at the same point with your score, you might not like that. Okay, and then here we will come up a little short just because, you know, 12 inches is 12 inches. Can't make it any longer. But that's pretty cute. And so now you want to get in there and really press that down. Okay, and now is a good time if you wanted to ink any edges of the bag. You could certainly do that now that it's put together. Good old vintage photo is perfect for this particular set of papers. Okay, cool. Now, next step. So we want to put our flap on here like our other ones. Have it come around. So before we do that, we can't just, you know, do that and expect it to close up. So we have to do a little pinch of the sides, and I just eyeball it like I just pinched it. I watch those corners come together, and I'm really not going to go all the way down the bag here. I'm just going to kind of let it sink in. Same thing over here, just slightly. It's not a score, it's not a hard fold. Just enough to have that kind of look. Looks good. Okay, and then I've got my little flap here, which I put the score tape only on that lower half because that's going on the back. So again, kind of hard to see. You got to make sure you don't go past your little fold. I'm going to get right down in here and hope that I'm lined up and close to that top fold. I think I'm a little crooked again. It's okay. Okay, a little bit askew over here. See it sticking out? I'm going to fix that pretty easy. Just trim it off. Ink it up. No one has to know. Okay, again, press on it. And now we've got this cute little flap that matches the little green stripe here. Lovely. So to keep this closed, I did some holes. with my crocodile, and then I used hole reinforcers. Now, you might be tempted to say, oh, why didn't you use eyelets? I have lots of eyelets. Well, I went to do that the very first time that I made one, and you don't want eyelets because you could do it maybe on just this one layer, but you don't want it going all the way through because then you've actually like closed your gift bag. I hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to use the big hole on my crocodile, and we know this is 4 inches across, but I'm going to put a ruler on it, and I'm just going to look and say, okay, half of 4 is 2. I'm going to go out like a 1/2 inch over here. I'll make a little pencil line and a little pencil line over at this 1/2 inch from the 2, just so I can see it. That's not where the holes are going to go, but I want to see it so that I can take my crocodile, and you got to pinch all this back together, hold it real tight, and I'm looking through at my pencil line, and I'm going about 3/4, not quite, maybe about a 1/2 inch in. And now I can erase those little pencil marks because I did pretty good. Okay, and you could leave it like that and put some ribbon through there, but I like to use the hole reinforcers. Okay, and I forgot about the strip before I punched the hole, but now that I see it on here, I think, I don't think I need that. I think what I'll do though is I'll use it for my hole reinforcers. So I grabbed the Reinforcement Variety Pack number 1, and I'm just going to go with your basic circles here. So I'll just die cut a bunch of them. I keep a little like compartment tin over here with all the extra hole reinforcements that I've die cut, so I'll just throw them in there. You can see I got a couple extra blue ones here, so those will have to go in the bin. But I think this gold color is going to be great for this bag, and we just need 4. Because I like to put them on the back as well as the front. Gives it a finished look. So these were brown, kind of craft and inked, and then these were the blue ones on this one. Okay, I just inked around the edges with the same brown, and I'll do a couple for you. You could put the double-sided adhesive on the back of the paper before you die cut it if you wanted. I always forget, and then I get this far and it's like, oh well, I'll just use glue. And I'm using my precision glue press, which I love. If I think that it's on Amazon or have a link, I will put that below. I'll link everything that I've talked about today, of course, like always. So here's the front, and then here's the back too. And we'll let those dry while we pick out a little ribbon and get our flowers ready. We're gonna, shape some flowers from Angelica's new die, which, let's see, today is Tuesday, October the, 8th, and Angelica's dies have been, and her paper and her stamps, they've been available in stores for about 10 days now. So tomorrow they officially go up on the Elizabeth Craft Designs website. When that is so, then I will link in this video, but I don't have those links yet because that's not till tomorrow. Like I said, here is the die Florals 32 that I'm going to play with, and I'm just looking at the size. Here's all the different sizes. I don't know if I want a really big one, so I think I'm going to stick with this size down. And I want to make this a pretty fluffy, kind of mum looking flower. So it's great to look at the packaging, but I think I want to do like 3 of each size. So that one, oh, that one. I will get a magnet on here very soon on this packaging. This is brand new, so it's still in the original packaging with the tape. And I suppose I'll have to do a couple of leaves. I think that would be a good idea, so I'll get those off too. I like how these are connected. That's handy. And then these are connected too, but I don't think I'm going to use those. Those are usually for the bottom of the flower, So I'm going to save those and not use those two big ones. So now I just have to decide colors, cardstock, coloring them, what we're going to do. Okay, so I use this paper here that has, it's the page in My Beautiful Bounty that has the chipmunk on the back and the fern, but it's got this great sort of like splotchy, grungy, yellowy color on the other side, or on the same side. The green is on the other side. So I used that gold side to cut a whole bunch of flowers, and then I used this sheet here that's the same one from the gift bag to do a handful of leaves over there. You could use soft finish white and color everything in with your markers, or use colored cardstock, whatever you have, whatever you want to do. I just decided I want to try to see how this looks. So I've grabbed an Olo marker. This is RV 0.6, and I'm looking at the mums on the paper, and I'm going to try to mimic that a little bit. So I'm going to take my marker and I'm just going to do a little red on the outside edge. And alcohol marker is great because it does want to bleed a little bit. I don't mind that if it moves in a little bit. But I don't really have to do any shading, I don't think, if I do this way. You can always add some shading, of course. But I'm going to do this on every single flower. And then I'll determine if I want to add like maybe a little orange to the center. Kind of blending out. We'll see. Okay, so it's really just kind of an outline like that, which looks weird right now, but it might look good when it's all together. All right, let me go through and do all these. Okay, after I did the marker, now I'm taking carved pumpkin, just a little bright orange in the center of all of these. I did half already, but I'm just dabbing it just for a little more color in the center part. Give it a little dimension. Okay, so let's shape a flower or two here. So I am using a cushion and some ball styluses here, and I'm starting with the largest flower, and I'm just going to pull toward the center or push. Okay, and just kind of get a few of those done. I'm going to do that to all of these. I don't want them to curl forward too much because we don't really need to see the green underneath on the back side of these flowers. So just like that, and I'll continue on, but it's that easy. Now I'm ready to assemble. Got everything shaped. I've got a big blob of thick tacky glue. You can use hot glue. It's just what you like to use, and I just kind of catch a blob of that glue on the bottom and start to assemble, and I'm giving it a little staggered spacing because I got to get a third one in here yet. So now it looks really full, just that bottom layer, and we'll go down in size and just keep building it up. Some people put a little piece of foam tape if they wanted to pop up. That's where hot glue might be nice. You might get a little more dimension popping up these centers, but I think this is looking good. Okay, I'm going to keep working at that one. Okay, and I decided I wanted to put a little Happy Thanksgiving label on my gift bag. So I've pulled out some more older sets of mine, the Layered Labels die, which I just die cut those out of, and the All Occasion Greetings stamp set and my Layered Labels stamp set. So you can see I did the little outlines, the stitched line stamps, the Happy Thanksgiving, the little border, and then die cut those out of compatible colors. So all we have to do is ink those up, and my flowers are drying, and I also grabbed my old Fancy Flourishes. I think I might want to work that in somewhere. We'll see. So I'm going to ink this up. The flowers are almost dry. I can still see a little bit of glue there, but I think I can put them on the bag here. And we can wrap this up. All right, got that ready. I picked out some ribbon. So before you go putting in your ribbon and trying to work on the front of your bag, what I like to do is I make a little pencil mark where that flap is, and that way I can keep this kind of open like this, and I also know don't go above that with anything that you're decorating with. So I'm thinking that this will go here, and maybe, I still don't know if these are going to make the cut, but I do like them. Even if it goes behind the flap, that would be okay with me. But maybe those will go there. I don't know, maybe it's too much with the flowers this color. And then I've got the leaves. The leaves just seem really big for these flowers. Maybe I'll just, maybe it needs to come over here, because I don't want to cover up these. So maybe this needs to come over here. And then this can be over here. This leaf is bigger. This one's smaller. This one's too big. We're not going to use those. And maybe just one more. Okay, that's an idea. I've got this little guy. Maybe I'll switch that with the smaller one. So I'll play around with that. I won't struggle on camera. And get that all on there, and I'll be back. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with it. Everything's still kind of drying, but I want to go ahead and try to get my ribbon through here. I picked a really pretty shimmery orange. You can use twine like I did on one of mine over there. I use ribbon on the other one. You could use anything you like. But I'm going to come through from the back. Give it a little push with my stylus. And then the same with this guy over here. Okay. I'm trying not to manhandle it because my flowers are still drying. Okay, pretty cute, right? Well, I hope you think so, because I have 3 really cute little gift bags, little treat bags, hostess presents, ready for the season. I hope you like that. I hope you give it a try. I hope you do, and if you do, tag me for sure on social media. I'd love to see. All right, everybody, that's it for me today. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week in the next crafty video.